Good morning to everyone present here. I'm Sangeeta Lakshmi, working as Assistant Professor in EC Department of R.M.K College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start the second unit, that is MOSFET amplifier. Unit 2 is MOSFET amplifier. The syllabus or load line Q point. Then we are going to see what are all the biasing methods available for MOSFET. Then we are move on to analysis of common source, common drain, common gate MOSFET amplifier using hybrid pi equivalent circuit. Then we are going to see MOSFET differential amplifier. Finally, multi-stage amplifier. Today we are going to see what is an amplifier and especially why we have to go for MOSFET amplifier. What is the good quality of MOSFET when compared to BJT, that we are going to see in the next slide. So first of all, we have to know what is an amplifier. See here, this amplifier contains the signal source, that is your input signal, right? It may be your audio signal or video signal. Then we have the DC source, right? Here it is load. Load is nothing but the which are the device which will consume the power. It's called as load. Example is speaker, right? Which are the device which will produces the power is called source, right? The example here is CD player. For example, if you have the public addressing system, right? Public addressing system, that is we need to speak through the speaker, right? So we that signal source which is coming from the CD player, if you are directly connected to the speaker, we could not able to hear any words from the speaker. That means the output from the CD player is not that much capable to drive the speaker. So we need some device which will amplify your signal which is coming from the CD player. So that device is called amplifier. Okay. So this amplifier must be linear amplifier. Then only we can get the faithful amplification. Faithful amplification means without any loss, we have to get the whatever the signal you are giving at the input side, that magnified version only we have to get at the output side without any loss. That is called faithful amplification. So in order to get the faithful amplification, we need linear amplifier. Linear amplifier means it possesses the superposition principle. Okay. So here why we need the DC source means from the DC source only we are getting the power. The signal will be superimposed on the DC signal so that it will be amplified, right? So you will be getting, for example, if you are giving 5 volts here, if you are applying at the input side of the amplifier, if you are getting 500 volts means the amplification, that is gain, is nothing but the output by input, right? So the gain is nothing but voltage gain equal to output voltage by input voltage, which is V0 by Vi. So V0 is nothing but the 500 and Vi is 5. So the gain is nothing but the 100. There is no unit for the gain. Clear? So this is the example for public addressing system. Suppose if you have the video signal or any image is captured by the space, that is from the satellite in space, that signal, if it is coming to the earth station, definitely it will be very weak because it has to travel through long distance. So in order to view that image, we need some amplifier. Okay. So here the signal source is nothing but you are getting the image from the satellite. Okay. So that is given to the amplifier, right? So amplified version is given to the load, which is here it is monitor, TV monitor or laptop monitor. Okay. So you can able to see that image after amplification. Okay. So many applications are there for the amplification. Next, we are going to see why particularly we have to go for the MOSFET amplifier. Because many advantage over than the BJT. In first unit, we have seen the BJT amplifier, right? So second unit, full and full, we are going to see the MOSFET. So before that, we have to know why we are going for MOSFET when compared to BJT. The first important difference is the BJT is, you know, that bipolar junction transistor, whereas MOSFET is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. So the first difference is the BJT is current control device. Why it is called a specifically current control device means we know that the current collector current IC equal to beta into IB, right? So here IB is nothing but your input current, whereas in IC is nothing but your output current. So the output current is controlled by the input current. That's why it is called current control device. Whereas in MOSFET, if you are taking the drain current equation, ID equal to Kn, conduction parameter Kn into VGS, gate source voltage minus threshold voltage of the transistor, right? The whole square. So here the input is nothing but the VGS, the output is nothing but the drain current. So the output current is controlled by the input voltage. That's why it is called voltage control device. The next difference is it is bipolar. I told you bipolar in the sense the current conduction is depends on both electron as well as holes. Okay, electron as well as holes. Whereas in MOSFET it is unipolar. That means the majority, the current conduction is depends upon the majority carrier. Suppose if you have the N mass means the majority is electrons, whereas in P mass means the majority is holes, right? So the current conduction in MOSFET is depends only on the majority carrier, not both. Whereas in BJT it depends on both the carriers. And next is BJT having high voltage gain, right? Whereas in MOSFET it is having low voltage gain. So when compared to BJT and MOSFET, BJT is best in terms of voltage gain because it produces high voltage gain. Okay, and also the gain is depends directly proportional to the beta, right? So the gain is directly proportional to beta here, whereas here the gain is directly proportional to transconductance Gm. Okay, and next parameter is low input resistance. The BJT having low input resistance, whereas MOSFET having high input resistance. Actually, this is a required quality of any voltage amplifier. For any voltage amplifier, the input resistance must be high. This is the very good quality of any amplifier. Why means you know that voltage equal to current into resistance as per the Ohm's law, right? If you are having high resistance, you will be having high voltage. It is directly proportional, right? So if any amplifier having high input resistance means the amplifier will easily receive even a weak signal. Okay, that is a good quality of any amplifier. And next one is the BJT having high output resistance, whereas in MOSFET having low output resistance. This is also good quality of any voltage amplifier. Because if you are having low output resistance, all the voltage produced by the amplifier will be given to the load. Okay, if you are having low output resistance, right? The next thing is the BJT having that is consume more power when compared to MOSFET. So this is also good character of MOSFET. So that's why we are going for the MOSFET. High input resistance, low output resistance, and low power consumption. It requires very less amount of power. Okay, in the case of MOSFET, it is having 10 power 12 ohms. The high input resistance approximately it is 10 power 12 ohms. Okay, it's very high resistance. Ideally, we can call it as the MOSFET having infinite input resistance. This is the biggest quality of MOSFET. Okay, so because of these advantages only we are going for MOSFET. The final advantages, the BJT produces more noise, whereas a FET is less noise. Okay, so this is also very good quality of amplifier. Okay, so these all the advantages of MOSFET we have seen.